If I could only recommend a handful of sneakers that I think you should buy here in 2025, it would definitely be these. Starting with the Jordan 4 Nigel Sylvester Brick by Brick. Now, overall, I think this is just a very solid pair of Jordan 4s. It's unique with great storytelling, great quality, and overall just feels super premium from the minute you get the box to fully unwrapping it. It's definitely a great example of a collaboration just done right. It's also just a colorway that I didn't really think I would like as much as I do, and I also feel like a lot of other people would hold the same opinion. It's one of those Jordan 4s that doesn't come around very often. I think we're flooded with a bunch of different random colorways, OGs and brand new ones. This one does feel like a bit of a moment. Now, unfortunately, when these released, they were very limited, meaning not very many people could actually get their hands on them. But I do think the way that the resale prices are looking, you would probably want to buy these sooner rather than later. They're only going to become more and more expensive. I mean, since the release, if you look at the resale value on these things, it has only been going up. It's just one of those shoes that I don't think you would want to miss out on, especially for the summertime. Now, another factor into these becoming more expensive is the fact that it's a Nigel Sylvester collaboration specifically. If you think about some of these staple collaborations that Jordan Brand has been turning to, a lot of them seem like they've kind of reached their peak. I think a Mom is a great option. You know, they've been around for a while, they've done a bunch of different Jordan models, and it kind of feels like we've seen everything there is to be seen. But Nigel Sylvester, on the other hand, is definitely something fresh that people really resonate with. He's been putting out hit after hit, and I think there's a lot of really dope stuff that they still have planned for the rest of the year and into the future. A lot of people are excited about this collaboration and expecting Nigel and Jordan Brand to become the next big thing. Next on the list, we got another crazy collaboration, the Jordan 1 Union LA. Now look, this is definitely not as unique as the Brick by Brick 4s. You know, we have seen two other colorways of this pair of shoes with the exact same storytelling. And then of course you have Union and Jordan Brand, who have been cooking up sneakers for a very long time now. However, the first two colorways that dropped as part of this trio were definitely unobtainable for the most part for the average person. They also resell for thousands today. So with this latest colorway, it's actually the first time a lot of us have had an opportunity to purchase one of these shoes. Regardless of all of the hype and craziness around this sneaker, I do think, like I said in my review, it's one of the better collaborations I've seen from the brand in general. It's a really simple concept of just blending two different colorways of an iconic sneaker together. And to be honest, the colorways that they put on this latest version might even be my favorite out of the trio. Currently, prices on these are not looking too bad, or at least as bad as they could have been. A mixture of different reasons, but definitely one that, you know, Jordan 1s aren't really what they used to be in terms of the hype factor. But I do really believe these will follow a similar trend of becoming more expensive in the future. I don't know if they'll become thousands like the first two colorways they did, probably not, but certainly uncomfortably expensive to the point where you just wouldn't buy them. But yeah, overall, definitely one of my favorite pickups this year. Super glad to add them to the collection and my rotation this summertime. And yeah, if you feel the same way, you like this pair of sneakers, I do think it's better to pick these things up sooner rather than later. Right, now for this next one, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's move away from the hyped up collaborations and let me just recommend a pair of shoes that is just overall solid. The Nike V5 Runner. Now I know I've mentioned this pair of shoes in a couple different videos before, but again, if I had to recommend a pair of shoes that wouldn't break the bank, it would be these. Retails for $90, incredibly comfortable, and an absolute banger for the summertime. If you're at the point now where you're kind of prepping for summer, looking at different sneaker options, different outfits that you can throw together with it, I think these are just a great recommendation. I've put a decent amount of steps into these since I bought them a few months ago. Worn them to the gym, running errands, walking around all day. They've held up great, and I've just begun to like them even more than when I first got them. So yeah, if someone or one of you came up to me and asked me, what sneaker do you recommend on a budget, it would be these. All right, who's ready to get weird with me? Now look, I make it a personal challenge to try out as many different shoes as I possibly can. Shoes that I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull off. Shoes that I just don't even see myself wearing. I try them out and sometimes it falls flat. It doesn't work. They're terrible. I hate them. But other times I'm pleasantly surprised or even shocked at how good they are. And I think a perfect example of that is Uggs. Now yes, Uggs have been a trend for a decent amount of time now, and I was always apprehensive to jump in and pick up a pair of Uggs. I just looked at them, didn't really think I could pull them off, didn't think they would really work with my style. But turns out I don't just like one pair of Uggs, I like multiple. Ugg is a brand that is doing some really cool things. And now currently I have multiple pairs in my rotation. So let me just run through all of them. I've got 3 different pairs that I kind of want to pinpoint on. First one is the Ugg boot. Now yes, look, definitely a winter pair of shoes. You're not going to be rocking these in the summer. summer. But, you know, I thought recommending now could be a great opportunity. You know, maybe you see some discounts during the summer, pick them up, and they'll go into your winter rotation. All I know is these freaking boots have been sat by my door because I wear them so much. They're relatively affordable for a pair of boots, insanely comfortable. Obviously, you got a bunch of fur on the inside. That's kind of signature to Uggs. Great quality with leather all around the upper. Also super easy to slip on and go. That's why I have them by the door. I just think they look super cool. Now, another one, and I told you we're gonna get weird, it's the Uggs pumped shoes. Now, this is a mule, so technically not a sneaker. And yes, they're definitely not your average everyday type shoe. These are out there. These are wild. They're gonna turn heads, especially in the Smurf colorway that I have. They do offer other colorways, by the way. Don't worry. But yeah, as crazy as they are, it's been a pair that I've really enjoyed wearing. Now, yeah, they have all of the same qualities that come with a pair of Uggs, so they're super comfortable. Despite being so chunky, they're actually really easy to walk around in. I just think it's a very unique, cool look when you're styling them. So if that's something that you're interested in, I recommend them. But then the last one is just something a little bit more regular, the Tasmans. So this one definitely has to be the most popular Ugg, at least from what I've seen. Tried a bunch of different versions, the winterized version, but the regular one is solid. It fills a really nice gap of like something that you can wear around the house or out and about running errands and just casually on a daily basis. Now, I personally have the Palace one, which inevitably makes them a lot more crazy in terms of all of the patterns and stuff and the artwork on the upper. The regular one's just as good. But hey, if you were like me and maybe you haven't tried a pair of Uggs out, I recommend trying them out. It might surprise you as much as they did for me. Right, regulars of the channel, I apologize because you're probably sick of hearing this one. The Adidas XLG Runner.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Now look, I know I have gone on about this pair of shoes since I got them. But hey, I gotta be honest about the pairs of shoes that I would really recommend. These are at the top of the list. I've been wearing them so much and just really enjoyed this pair of shoes. It's also a pair of shoes, like if you're someone who likes to stand out a little bit, you know, wear something that a lot of other people are not wearing. I guarantee you wear these things, you are not gonna find anybody else wearing them. At least if you're not in China, because these are a Chinese exclusive. You are in China, then you'll see them everywhere, because it's like one of the most popular shoes out there. But yeah, overall, it's a super chunky, unique look, or unique to the point where, you know, I mean, it does kind of look like a pair of Balenciagas. I'm sure that's what Adidas was going for. But yeah, if you don't want to shell out like $1,500 for Balenciagas, which I highly recommend you do not purchase those, these will definitely get you that same kind of look. I think they look super cool, especially with baggier pants. It just kind of fits the vibe. I even recently customized my pair to kind of look like the distressed ones that Adidas sells. Super simple, just wrap a pair of extra laces around them and you get that look. I don't know. I just thought it looked cool. There's a ton of different colorways to choose from. There's a bunch of different platforms that sell them now, so they're relatively accessible. But yeah, overall, definitely recommend them. It's a solid pair, and I'm probably going to be rocking these things for the foreseeable future. Next up, the Jordan 4 Nike SB Navy. Now, this one currently is at a pretty low price, considering the hype and the price of the previous ones, the pine greens. Now, granted, they did make a decent amount of pairs of these things, so it's not necessarily surprising. However, the collaboration in general is definitely a cool one, and I think they did a solid job on this navy colorway. It looks good. But I think it's a good time to pick these things up if you were interested right now for a couple reasons. First, I do think that these will become more expensive over time. If you wanted the pine greens, never managed to get them for retail, and just didn't want to pay the resale price, then I think these are a great option. Second is the rumor that they're not going to be doing any more Jordan 4 Nike SB collaboration colorways, and that this navy one is really the last. I've seen this a few times now, and essentially what it is that Jordan Brand wants to extend their own lineup of skate lifestyle shoes. Now, this does kind of make sense, seeing how Jordan Brand has all of a sudden started releasing a lot of sneakers within this category. We had the Jordan 4 RM, something that was heavily promoted as a biking or skate shoe. Jordan Flight Court, a lot of their promo material was targeted at skaters. And then we've also got the upcoming Jordan Session, a $90 lifestyle skate shoe. Now, obviously, this is just a rumor, but if this really is the last Nike SB Jordan 4 that we get, it would kind of make sense. Either way, it's a great looking pair of Jordan 4s with all of the little, you know, comfort upgrades that they did in this specific Nike SB variation. And I think it's a great time to pick these things up, especially in time for summer. Right, last one up, we have a pair of shoes that is just about to release, depending on when you're watching this video. It's the Jordan 1 UNC Reimagined. Not entirely sure what's going on with this pair of shoes, whether it's it's the Jordan 1 hype at this moment in time, or if they produced a ton of pairs of these things, but prices are looking pretty low at the moment. A lot of them have probably been backdoored as well. But yeah, overall, it's just a pretty special pair of Jordan 1s in, of course, the iconic OG UNC color. Honestly, I think people are going to look back on these regretting that they didn't pick them up if you didn't. Now, I don't think that necessarily prices are going to go insane on this pair of shoes, at least in the near future. In fact, they may even drop a couple weeks after the release date. That seems pretty likely. If I had to make an educated guess, I could definitely see this pair of shoes becoming more expensive over time. It's an iconic original colorway that has a unique twist to it. In the reimagining department, it's basically the same as the Lost and Founds, where they added the scuffed lid swapped box, aging details like the cracked leather, the sail midsole, the oxidized outsole. I'm a huge fan of this colorway and super happy that they decided to retro these again. I think it's perfect timing right now to pick these things up, ready for the summertime, to get a lot of wear out of them. I understand some people are put off by how yellow the midsole is, and that's fair if that's not your thing, but I honestly think it makes it easier to style and look pretty dope. Either way, if you do want more details on this sneaker, I did a full review, so you could check that out. But just know, if you were on the fence about this sneaker, I highly recommend it overall. But there you have it, guys. Let me know down in the comment section, what sneaker would you recommend here in 2025? And if you want to catch another video, you know I'll throw one up right in the corner over there.